Secrets, if you really look at yourself, you would be speechless. What happened to being doctors and teachers? What happened to being your brother's keeper? Nowadays, kids more worried about...
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy, Mr.BandClap, and we in the building with something a little different today. So, I had the pleasure of doing this interview with GodFather Tank D, and he has a podcast, and it's called Living Black Life. So I had the pleasure of doing this interview with him and Miss Tanya Gray of the GrayGirlCreative. And I'll put all of their information below on this. Now, mind you, even though this preview is 40 minutes long, the actual interview is 2 hours long. And it's a really, really good interview. Now, the name of this interview is called The Death of the Black Man, a K. Michelle story. So, like I always say, we got a lot to talk about. So let's get into it. A lot of things slide.
But that's the key though. And until it's too late. And this is actually something that K. Michelle said in regards to how she is with her current dude.
Are you in a relationship now though?
Yeah, I'm in a relationship now, and
him?
he has his ways with him. And I'm very cold. I'm very like
A wall up.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like that.
What does he say about that?
Oh, he just tries to, I think, kind of ignore it.
And I hope y'all caught the ending part, because I thought that was the most important. Yeah. Because she said that she's cold with her dude. She admitted that because, of course, she's still dealing with her trauma. But at the end, when he asked, okay, well, how does your man feel about it? And she's like, oh, well, he just kind of ignores it. I feel like that's one of the biggest problems that we have, because as men, oftentimes we don't like to deal with problems. We don't like to confront them and actually deal with and fix whatever is going on. We try to pretend like it's just not there and hopefully it just goes away. But that just perpetuates the trauma. It doesn't heal it. So we're not really healing our women and we're not healing ourselves.
Well, I mean, the way I read through this conversation with her is that they're two hurt people together, because he's allowing her to not love him. And he's ignoring that. So he's hurting. He hasn't healed from whatever trauma he's going through or has experienced. And her as well. She still wants the love of a man, but doesn't want to be present for that love. And that says a lot about them as individuals and what kind of relationship they're having and putting out in the universe, as well as to her son. So
Now, let me go red pill for a moment. My mind ain't all there, but it's slowly coming back. Thanks a lot, Tank, for having me on this show. But it was two things that I seen with this. First thing, when she said she hit the wall, that is a really, really big issue. And it's one of those things to where a lot of women, by design and stuff like that, they're raised to believe that they can go around and have sex with a lot of these thug dudes and stuff like that. And Tank, me and you, we're very spiritual people. So we talk about how every time you have sex with somebody, that's a transfer of energy. And I talk about how every time a woman has sex with a man, she gives a little piece of her soul to that man. And then that man gives a little bit of his essence to her. So now look at the situation to where it's like, now she's so traumatized. She's so hurt. She haven't done the shadow work. She haven't done the inner work on the inside to be able to get to know that inner child, like I talk about, get to know her soul and stuff like that. So now she quote unquote hit the wall, meaning that now she's been traumatized and hurt so much. She got so many of those men swimming around in her that in her mind and in her psyche and in her emotions, it's almost like a toxic waste dump, because none of that emotions and none of that trauma has been cleaned out. So now when this man comes, which is usually in a lot of cases, this is the man that was put in the friend zone for all this time and stuff like that. Now, us in the red pill community, we call that the beta male, because ain't no man in his right mind, ain't no man in his right mind about to wait on the woman to get all used up by all these men. And then when she finally quote unquote come to her senses, now we have to deal with this super broken, super toxic type of woman. And the reason why it's like this is because the more men that she has this, we call it pair bonding. The more men that this woman pair bonds with, the more she gets her heart broken and stuff like that. Every other man that she gets with after him and after him and after him, they're getting smaller and smaller and smaller of a piece of her. So now this guy right here, now he has to deal with her the way she is and stuff like that. And, you know, I feel like that's something that we really need to talk about as well.
Yeah, and I feel like, I feel like it's something on the man's end too. Like, it's not all K Michelle, like, or all the woman that's going through the trauma. I get that some men want to love you through your trauma and all of that, but there's something there with him to want to. He's ignoring it. He's not addressing it. So that's the issue. If he was addressing it, that would be different. If he was addressing it, saying, "Look, babe, you kind of got this wall up. I need you. I need you to be present for me. I need you to love me. I need you to love me this way. What do we need to do to help you through this process?" He's not doing that. He is ignoring it. So something in him is either we can't overlook that.
She has. And we're going to get into that right now. I'm actually glad you said that. So this is what she said in this clip right here.
So then you have an example of a black man then who
Yeah, but I have an example of how men should be.
Yeah.
Because I saw my grandfather raise 8 kids when my grandmama passed. And I never met her.
Right.
I've seen men. So nowadays, that's not the men that I see.
And that's interesting, but then she said this.
How am I supposed to be like, oh, it's good men? Because I don't know them. I haven't met them other than my grandfather. You know what I'm saying? And my father, I don't know those other men.
But we have to ask the question, why?
It goes back to the laws of attraction. You attract what you are.
All right, there we go.
You attract what you are. So it's like, shout out to Tariq Nasheed. I'm not finna come on here and try to make excuses for dusty niggas. We're not gonna do that because we already know how they operate and stuff like that. So if you're a girl, if you're a woman or whatever, and you see that dusty dude and he might have a flashy car or he might have a big dick or anything like that, it's one of those things to where you being a grown woman, what you're getting yourself into when you mess with that man. But see, one thing that a lot of us don't really put into perspective is that you have a lot of women who think that they can change that man. And see, I learned this with the relationship that I just got out of with my ex. You can't change nobody. You can't change nobody. That person has to want to change on their own. And women, they have that nurturing aspect about them. They have that type of nurturing and wanting to be able to be there for that person and stuff like that. And there is nothing wrong with that. But a lot of women at an earlier age, they have to be able to look at that other type of man, see the alpha that he really is. Because when you really want to take it there, our alpha, us being alpha, should really be in our intelligence. But a lot of those guys who got the intellect and they got the intelligence, and instead of them out selling drugs and stuff like that, they was in the classroom reading their books and getting good grades in school. A lot of those guys, like probably the dude that she's with now, they get turned up, for Tyrone. They get turned up because, and like I say, it's not more of the woman's fault versus how we've all been raised to look at masculinity and femininity.
We're going to get into this right here because this is something else that she said, which I feel like kind of goes into what you were just talking about. So
they just see a black man.
It's hard to raise a man. Like, it really is hard because I see a lot of women fail their sons because I dated them.
Did y'all catch that? Said a lot of women are failing their sons and she's the one that's dating them. I think there's a little bit of truth in that. But I also feel like, again, we have to start talking about the family because it shouldn't just be on the woman. Yeah. The men have to be there. Exactly. Like, I don't, I feel like you do have some women who are failing their sons. But then you also have a lot of men who aren't there that's allowing that to happen. We got to hit him with the pump one time. What y'all think about that?
Yeah, I think, I mean, you're right. I think there's some truth to what she said. It's just, she's dated them all. But I think that it's definitely not just the mothers. It is, like you said, the fathers definitely fail their sons because it is a man teaches another man. Like, you teach your son how to be a man. You teach him the things that you learned as a man, and hopefully his father taught him. A woman can only take her son but so far into that manhood, right? She can tell him, one, how to treat a woman, because she should know that. But maybe if she doesn't know that, she can't teach him that. I will say, when she says that they have failed their sons, I have definitely met some friends, or let me say associates, that believed in raising weak boys. Like, he may be a grown man now, but he's a weak boy on the inside. And where it was things that would help develop him into being a man, she would take the reins and still baby him and do everything else and create a man now in full form that she doesn't even want to deal with. And now that he's grown or whatever, she wants to make him a man. Like, oh, well, you need to do that, but you didn't teach him that. And his father wasn't there to teach him that, or there was no father figure there to teach him that. So, you know, and I remember I used to tell her all the time, you raising a man you don't even want to be with. You know what I'm saying? And so I get what K. Michelle is saying there, but at the same time, it's not all on the women. But women need to stop making boyfriends out of their sons, because that's not how this goes. Like, that's a child. You need to instill something in them, allow them to, you know, let him be a man. He was 17. This is just a quick story, real quick. 17 at the time. He had a job that one of her good guy friends that could have gave him that male role model image. He owned his business. Said, he come work for me. You need to be here at 7 a.m. She's going to ask him he be here at 7:30 so I can take him, bring him to work. And he was like, absolutely not. He can catch the bus, train, it's all kinds of stuff. We live in a major city. Do you know she would get up at 7 to make sure she dropped him off at 7 a.m.?
Wow.
So now you want him to be a man. But that would have made him a man, because he would have got tired of riding that bus. He would have got tired of riding that train. He would have been under a man that's going to tell him how to maneuver, get you a car, get you your license. Because mind you, she's driving him. He ain't driving her. And then she going off to work because he didn't have a license. He didn't want any of those things. So now he lives up under his girlfriend.
I agree with that too, about it shouldn't be a woman's responsibility to raise a son, especially a son to be a man. Now, when that child is little, she can nurture that son, but then once he gets to that certain age where they quote unquote start smelling themselves and stuff like that, even if it's the way I feel, even if it's not the dad, you got to have at least an uncle or a granddad or some kind of alpha male figure to raise that son up. And see, I've had situations with some of my homeboys that some of their dads was in jail. They was in prison, some of them was in jail and stuff like that, and their mom would religiously take them to the jail every week, and their dad would have to raise that son from behind bars. And a lot of these dudes, my homeboys that had that experience, a lot of them are real stand-up dudes, because it's nothing like, and this is just, I'm not trying to say this, you know, bragging, nothing like that, but it's nothing like you having a example of how not to be and what not to do, and that be your own flesh and blood. And you can look at that like, yeah, you know, I need to get my act together. I need to do this because I don't want to end up like my dad. But see, you have a lot of women, they try to shield their sons away from their dad. And with me, with the people that I hang around and stuff like that, because you have a lot of women, they say, oh, the father ain't shit. He's just gonna poison my son's mind and all of that stuff. Me personally, I've never seen that. I've seen street dudes that take real good care of their sons. I got a homeboy right now, you know, that got kids and stuff like that, and he's a street dude, and that kid don't have to want for nothing. But also, he's teaching his son about business. He's teaching his son about, you know, stocks and different things of that nature. So just because that father might have took a wrong turn in life or something like that, I still don't feel like that's a reason to keep him away from your child.
And do you feel like that causes a situation where there aren't better men? Let's get into this clip.
Wow. All because a teacher, school teacher,
she can't even walk. Her husband made her get a bigger butt.
Her husband
and left her for a younger woman, and now she hitting me because she don't want to die and got a child, 3-year-old child. Like that's how could I possibly, if I'm hearing women coming to me, how could I possibly think that it's better men out there? I don't believe it.
Oh,
Okay.
I just heard it.
So just like
It sounds like a bunch of hurt people are hurting people, and you're festering in. Like I was telling Rick and Lexi earlier today, was there's this phenomena, I can't remember the word, but an example of it is like a police officer or a CEO, because they're around criminals all day long, they start to see everyone as either a suspect or a victim. And they can't break that cycle. And that's just, it's a form of trauma. It's a form of PTSD. And being that she's admitting that, I'm around these women all the time who are always talking about how men have hurt them and men have done something wrong. And, like one of the ladies that she referenced was she got this plastic surgery because her husband wanted it and then left her for a younger woman. And now she's getting ready to die. She was on her deathbed. And that's heavy. Yeah. And that in itself can cause a form of trauma. And when you yourself are still hurt and you're still dealing with that, is she the right person to do this?
Absolutely not. Well, let me see. First off, it's a lot of, like, you can hear the anger in her voice when she talks. There's a lot of, in the scenario, as Rick mentioned earlier, she's drawing to her who she is, right? So at her core right now, she is this angry, almost bitter to me, it sounds like, person that she altered her body, and she probably altered her body for the president.
But wait, hold that thought. Hold that thought for 1 second, because what you're saying, you don't have to think if she's angry, because we got this.
Get me in, and I have an anger for them. I see how they make women feel. I have a brand new TV show on Lifetime. My first show I'm producing, and it's helping women get silicone out of their body. I'm paying $200,000 a pop, the network, to help these women. And you should hear the stories, all because of a man.
So she admitted in the clip that she is angry.
Well, but my thing is, how are you angry with someone that, because they didn't hold you down and let the surgeon put this in you. You didn't love yourself enough to say, no, you need to get stepping because I like my ass the way it is. Excuse my French. No. It starts with self-love.
Exactly.
Don't get angry at them because you don't love you. You never love somebody more than you love yourself. And clearly, when you're out here altering yourself to keep a man, he ain't worth keeping. So y'all need to go to square one. This is how 101. This is how we not keep a man. Like, that doesn't make sense. So you want to
now we have another clip that goes into exactly what you just said. As far as, was it for a man or was it something that she wanted to do, or did it have something to do with her low self-esteem?
I did it at first because I already had butt.
Yeah, you already.
I just wanted some more.
So there you go, because they was asking her, okay, what made you decide to go get plastic surgery? Did you do it for a guy or whatever? And she was like, nah, I didn't do it for a guy. I did it because, I wanted to do it. And then they asked her this question.
So that pressure wasn't from the label. That was you.
Yeah, that wasn't them. They paid for it, but they didn't pressure me to do anything. I've never had a body fight with a record label.
So then why did you feel that pressure to do it then? Like,
I just saw it and I thought, because it was the day of the butt. You know what I'm saying?
So it wasn't like there was someone who, in her case, forced her to do it. She felt like, well, since everyone else is doing it, I guess this is what I'm supposed to do too.
She has low self-esteem. She doesn't know who she is. She's a follower, and she doesn't know who K. Michelle is. And the people that's coming to her that did it for other people or did it for themselves, thinking that they did it, is a low self-esteem issue. I could see the people that had something, if you got a breast augmentation or whatever because something was wrong with your breast. And there are people that just really want to have fuller breasts. Okay. But I don't get that K. Michelle just did it from all of this conversation, from how she feels about men, from how, her saying she has low self-esteem, that you did that just to, because you wanted to do it. It wasn't because of that. It was, your butt at the time wasn't good enough because now they got new butts out here, and I need to compete with the new butts. When you love yourself, competing with anyone else, you're being who you are, and you know that someone's going to accept you and love you for who you are.
Right, and she also said that she did it for this.
I need this because this is how these successful girls have this. Yeah. So this is my shot. So I want to be successful, and I want to feel beautiful, and I want to be ready to be the perfect artist. Did it help you? No, I was like in magazines and things, and on like People magazine, sexiest people. Who cares once the magazine is ripped?
See, and I think she's starting to get that now, but it was originally in her mind, she thought this is what I needed to be successful. What you think about it, Rick?
Now, this is the thing. We have a battle going on. The battle is K. Michelle versus Kimberly Pate. That's the battle. Because there's this BET show called Rules to This Shit. And it talks about how when a lot of these artists, when they get signed and stuff like that, they have to change their name to an avatar. And pretty much that avatar is what the world is going to see them as. So if it's a situation to where them as a person already had insecurities and different things or whatever, they can use that avatar and pretty much be everything that they couldn't be in their personal life or whatever. And once the carousel is over, once the ride is done and you look back over your life or whatever, you damn near, in order for you to be in this industry and be as hot and popular, you damn near have to not have a soul. You have to be able to handle hearing little girls and little boys twerking to your music and acting like they're sucking dick and all of this stuff. And you have to be able to look at that and it not break you. And that's it seems like that's about it she's going through. Now, I got a story. This girl I used to talk to and stuff like that, she was very talented. She had a nice body or whatever, but she didn't really have that Nicki Minaj type of body. And, she wanted to be a stripper. And the thing about it is, she had all the moves because she had a little pole at the house, so she would practice and stuff like that. So she was able to outdance most of the strippers that was there. But the thing about it wasn't men, it was other women that was coming to her like, look, yeah, you got the moves and stuff like that, but in this game, it's all about who got the bigger butt. It's all about who got the bigger breast and stuff like that. And if she had the money, she was telling me about, she probably would have got breast implants, and she probably would have got butt implants just so she could be able to compete. So if that's how it is in the stripper game, imagine how it is in the female artist game.
Now check this out. We have a clip of her kind of talking about that. So let me play
was there a trigger point? You spoke about the strong male figures that you had in your life. Was there like one point in time as you got older that made you have that self-esteem issue where you wanted to alter your body?
I think it was the industry. I think it was just, I was entering that business. Like, I had got my first record deal. And I said, I'm not going to sign this record deal because I was so insecure I didn't have any boobs. So I was like, I'm not going to sign this record deal until you guys give me boobs and teeth.
Now, she said, I'm not signing no record deal until I get boobs and teeth. Tanya, what you think about that?
First off, hey, she felt like she had that clout to be like, I'm not signing this deal until you give me boobs and teeth. Hey, like, she worked the deal. Not mad at that on the business tip, because they could have been like, okay, well, you don't get a deal. You know what I mean? So that was gutsy in a sense, but at the same time, I guess she missed the point. They were giving her a deal with her boobs and her teeth the way they were. You know what I'm saying? So you didn't need those things in order to be successful. It's sad that you believed it, which now makes it so. But she didn't need those things to be successful. And that's one of the reasons, like, now, with all the body shaming, people applaud Lizzo, but of course the industry's still going to come for her. They're still going to try to make her conform. And this is why you don't hear a lot from the India Aries or the Tweet. Well, Tweet actually conformed. But you don't hear a lot from the people that didn't conform, because the industry says, no, you're too positive, you're too too normal, too like, you know, real life. We need you to do this. But I just found it interesting that she didn't see, because I mean, it really does lend to her self-esteem. And it happened before she even got her deal, because the deal was at the table, and she said, not until my boobs and my teeth are done. So, I mean, she hustled and got it.
Yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
you can
It
see
is.
too.
It's really
heartbreaking.
sad.
And then you can see too to how she came in the game insecure.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Absolutely.
She came into the game insecure. So imagine when she got those boobs, and then, you know, like Cardi B said, got my bag and fixed my teeth. Hope you hoes know it ain't cheap. And then she messed around and got the ass. So now she's getting all of this attention, all of this validation that she didn't really get before, you know, before she had the implants and stuff like that. And she talked about that too in a different type of interview. It got to the point where if you're already insecure, you can see that attention and it can blind you, because you can think these guys out here really love you, and you can think these guys out here really care about you, but they really just want to smash. They really just want to do the ass jiggle or whatever when they're hitting it from the back or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like that she got ran through by a lot of those type of dudes, to the point where she's closed off her heart. And it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, and the sad part is she's in this state of where she is right now, and putting up money to put more women in this state. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's fueling this venom, and has the right, because she's on this show helping them get the recovery or whatever from what men have done, and it's just a perpetual cycle that she's starting to create. And we already live in it, so it's just sad it's taking this platform, and we need to pay attention, especially as Black people and Black women, that it's not a game out here. These people are setting us up for a complete and utter failure, and we're buying a hook, line, and sinker. You know, so you're out here saying that there's no good man. The average man that you're talking about is a Black man. So you continue to perpetuate the story that there are no good Black men, and that we're angry Black women, and you create an avenue to tear this down, to continue to tear down our community. And that's the last place we need to be right now. There are definitely some great Black men out here. There are great men out here, period, in general, but there are some awesome Black men out here, and I'm sad that she ain't had a chance to experience that outside of her father and her grandfather with me. She's never experienced that in an intimate way. So she might want to flip the switch on how she feel about that, so she can draw some good men to her and start working on herself. She need to hit up April Mason. That's what she needs to do.
Hey, hold on, wait. Hey, shout out to April Mason for dropping gems to these people on relationship advice, for sure.
And then the fact that VH1 is giving her a show.
Yeah.
So she'll be able to spew that trauma and that negativity, but just like most of these Black shows spew and stuff like that. And the thing about it is, and I talk about this too on my podcast, this system of soulless beings that run Hollywood, that want to see us Black people not be conscious and not love each other and stuff like this, because I talk about how the Black family is God, not just the Black woman, not just the Black man. The Black family is God. So you got people from the UK, you got people from all over the world that's going to look at this show and see that this hurt Black woman, and they may not have the same information that we have about her background. So they're going to look at that as, oh, maybe all Black men are that stereotype, and maybe these Black women need to go with white men or Arab men or men of a different race and stuff like that. And that's not going to do anything else but to just mess up the Black family like it's already have.
And now I want to get into this, because this is actually the clip that actually has most people up in arms right now, where she basically said that she just doesn't think that men are good people. So we're gonna play.
What do you mean? Like, explain that. Like,
I don't think men are good people.
Wait, you think that now? All men?
I don't think they're good people.
Why not?
The reason for that, and I truly believe that, the reason for that is, like, for men to do things that they consider small in the flesh of, like, cheating. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know that that's going to destroy your partner, but you do it anyway. That's not a mistake. we've watched the same story over and over again.
Yeah.
And just because I'm a woman, I'm supposed to accept your betrayal.
Right.
Because you're taking advantage of my love for you, and I'm supposed to just be the one behind you riding or dying. I'm not dying with nobody.
Now, what's interesting is she's been hurt, and clearly, and she's been cheated on, but they asked her this question.
Have you ever cheated in a relationship?
That's exactly what I was about to
Yeah,
ask.
I've cheated. But I've cheated after I was cheated on.
And there was actually a story that came out a while ago where she had kind of already said that, but it wasn't like somebody had cheated on her and then she cheated. She was with the guy that she cheated on, and then after she cheated, then he cheated. So it's one of those things where it's like, yo, you're constantly perpetuating the same hurt that you felt upon other people.
And contradicting yourself in the process.
Right.
Exactly.
Like all the way. I mean, well, wasn't she with Idris Elba? He had a girl, like.
Yeah, and now he's married.
Yeah, but he married that girl, right? So my thing is, you can't sit here and say, I'm going to run with you. You got a woman. I'm going to run with you. You ain't no good. But when you get with me, you can't cheat on me. Like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, you can't expect to put that out and not get that back. So she has to realize that even if he cheated, you should have made the decision at that time. If you cheated because he cheated, you should have been woman enough to say, you know what? You didn't respect his love. You don't deserve my love. Clearly, you wanted what's over there. You go over there and move on with your life. So you don't have to get that karmic back of cheating on him. Or you say, you know what? You did that. I don't tolerate that. Do it again. And then, it's over or whatever. But she doesn't see her reactions to things. She only sees what the men do. And she doesn't see her role in this. I don't think she sees her role in this at all. And it's sad to say that's most people. I can't even say that's most women, but that's most people. They don't see their role in it. And oftentimes, yes, it's women because, like you said, we go through a lot of trauma with the different, men that we sleep with and all the hurt that we create through those soul ties. But she's just not seeing it. And she's okaying her cheating. Like, so that doesn't make her a bad person. It makes him a bad person. No, cheating is cheating. Like, why is it different from one to another?
Exactly.
Speaking of that, Miss Tanya, I want to ask you a question right quick. Because since we have a beautiful black woman,
shout out to the beautiful black women.
I want to ask you this question because I asked this to Alexis earlier.
Go ahead.
Now, say you're walking down the street and you see a guy and he says, "What's up?" to you or whatever. Now, is it true that damn near the first 5 seconds, probably lower than that, the first 5 seconds that you look at that guy, you already know why he came to you and said, "What's up"?
Well, I mean, okay, so I'm going to kind of answer this in two parts. Like, do I instantly think he's trying to holler to have sex with me? No, that's not where my head goes. Do I instantly think that he's interested in me? Yes. I think that,
okay.
I mean, every dude's end game is a smash, right? Every woman on the face of the earth should know that. That's the man's end game is to smash. He's looking at me. He finds me attractive. Okay, I'm not mad at that. So it's what I do between the time of that hello and we smash that makes the
Now,
difference.
this is the thing. This is another question.
Oh, go ahead.
Now, within the first date, would you say that within that first date, you pretty much know how far you're willing to go with this guy? Y'all haven't had sex yet. Y'all just went on a date. But during that first date, do you pretty much feel him out to the point where you kind of know how you want to deal with that guy?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's this, Aaron, I have to send this to you. It's this podcast that I watched. The actually it was funny because the guy was going on a date and sent it to me. And it was, I can't remember her name, but it was a black sister that used to do matchmaking. And she said, it's a kiss quotient. Like, at the end of a date, after you hang out with somebody, if you feel like you can kiss them, then for a woman, that means that we can do more. I look at it as a kiss, keep it kind of PG at the time. Not that I'm going to kiss them at the end of the date. It's like, do I want to? do I have a longing for this man? So if so, then I know, okay, we can go there. But, you know, it's going to be a couple more dates. There's going to be quite a few more things for me in between that first date and us meeting and you smashing.
So I don't want to put words in your, mouth, but pretty much what you're saying is if y'all are vibing good and y'all got a good conversation and stuff like that, and you know right then if he tries to lean in for a kiss, you're more likely to answer back with another kiss, is what you're saying.
Yes and no. So me and vibes and energy and good conversation, I mean, I get that with a whole lot of people. So that's not. It has to be that, but I also have to have an attraction to you. Like
the attraction is there, definitely with the attraction.
You're cool, and we have a great conversation, and we vibe, and you know our energy is cool. But I'm not feeling you. I'm not sexually attracted to you. So I'm not even thinking about you in that kiss kind of quotient way, you know. And I'm gonna keep it PG because my nephew on here, but. Yeah, I mean, it's been very rare that I met someone that I'm like, oh, I want to kiss him at the end of the night. But what he did was stimulate my intellect more than anything else. Sometimes it's just conversation.
Okay. Now, why would you say that you're not the type of woman to be able to look at a dude and just because he come up to you and he's like, yeah, what's up, baby? And he got all these, he's buff, he got these muscles, and you know, you can look in his eyes and tell what he want. Why would you say you won't just hop in his car and just go to bed with him right then? Why would you say that you're not that type of woman?
Because I have standards. I mean, that's
wait, that's heavy, because we not seeing that like that in mass numbers. So I think we need to hit him with the pump real quick. It's called standards, ladies and gentlemen. We gotta hit him with the pump one time.
Yeah, I don't think K. Michelle has standards. If we're putting this back to her, she doesn't have standards. Is why she keeps dealing with the dudes that she's dealing with. I have standards. I have very high standards. So, you know, and it's not impossible standards, but they're high standards because I love myself. And there's certain things that I want in my life that I don't want my family to be, you know, bring into my family. I'm protective. And I'm protective of my heart and the people that are around me. And you need to be able to rise to that occasion. And I need to see that. And oftentimes we as women in this whole dating game, you buy into there's no good men, there's nothing available, especially for a black woman. If you want black love, now you got to cross over. None of that's true. All you need is one. You don't need all the men in the universe. You need one. So I like to believe that this is one man.
The reason why I asked you these questions because there's an underlying factor that you said, you know, within pretty much the first sentence of your last answer. And it's a common denominator when we're talking about not only K. Michelle, but when we're talking about a lot of women that ends up falling in that same position that K. Michelle is in. And that's self-love. That's the main thing. If you're insecure, that's an oxymoron. You can't love yourself and then be insecure in the same breath, because the meaning of self-love is being comfortable in your own skin and loving your flaws.
I agree with that 1000%. And actually that kind of leads into this next clip, because my thing is, if you don't really love yourself, it's hard for you to love someone else. But on top of that, it's hard for you to love someone that you're raising if they are the image of something that you do not like yourself. So we about to get into this next clip.
So how is that raising a man then? Because you have a son who's turning 16.
That's why I don't want to raise another one.
Yeah, man, that's heavy.
Oh, yeah.
That's heavy. But here's the next thing she said though.
Like I'm struggling. He has took off with a white girl.
Wait.
As pro-black as we are.
Rewind.
Your son?
What you mean he's taking off with a white girl?
I get a phone call from my mama like, yeah, Chase said he could go on this date with some white girl. I said, okay, we got unity. It's all good.
Right.
But I didn't tell him he could go anywhere.
We gotta talk about this part, because one, she said that she definitely don't want to have a black son, which means that if she had the option, she would have never had one. But then on top of that, she went on to say that, oh, well, now, you know, my son is dating white girls. But if your mom doesn't have that love for you, And it's hard for, and that's something that you're going to start to disdain black women after a while, because you start to feel like your mom doesn't love you. So therefore it's like, okay, well, if I don't love my mom, I'm not going to love anything that looks like my mom. So therefore I'm going to go look for something else. Let me hit him with the pump real quick.
And this is the thing, I'm gonna add this too. Also,